honour to be chatting to you, so thank you so much.
That's fine. Thank you, mate. Lovely.
So, Roger, I wanted to start off by asking a little bit about how did you first become involved with the film Stone, and what was your first thoughts when you were given the script for this film?
Well, in the days that I did it, I've always said I did it in '72, but I was reading some research today, and I said it sort of made in '73. I know it was released in '74, but I was, I don't know, it must have been '73 that we made it. Anyway, we all drank, all of us actors drank in a certain hotel called the Gladstone Hotel, and we all knew each other. At that time, there were only a very few actors around, professional actors, I mean. Now you've got thousands of them coming out of drama schools all around Australia, but in those days, there's only 20 or 30 professional actors around, and we all met of a Friday night at the Gladstone Hotel for drinks and parties and fun and games, or if you were a bit loose for time and during the week you'd pop in and you'd always find someone there. And that was our casting couch. So you'd go there and someone would say, hey, look, I'm doing a film next week, do you want to be in it? Or some producer from the ABC be there, would you like to, I'm doing a television series, would you like to be in it? So that was that was part of the course, So when Sandy said to me, I knew Sandy as an actor, I knew Sandy, and he said, look, I'm doing a film, a biker film, would you be interested in doing it? I said, yeah, I would. I've got my original motorbike. I rode a motorbike since I was 17, an AJS 500 single. And I said, yeah, I'd love to do a biker film. So he said, I want you to play the gang perv. Well, I said, that suits me right down to the ground. That's fine on me. But he gave me the script and I liked it. My name was Hooks, a guy called Hooks. And as I say, I was supposed to ride solo. All the other guys had girls behind them. We employed a lot of models and a couple of actresses. And every biker had a girl on the back, except me. Being the bikey perv, I was allowed to rotate and chase all the other girls. But then Vince Gill was employed as Dr. Death. And Vince couldn't ride a motorbike to save himself. He actually tried and nearly killed about 10 crew members. So they said, look, you'll have to ride on the back of Hook's bike. So I was landed with Dr. Death on the back of my bike, which spoiled my image a bit, with Dr. Death on the back. But hello, what's Hooks? What's going on with Hooks? But that was reading the script. Reading the script was. I just hang up on that. Reading the script was fine. I liked the script. It was strong, very well written, and a powerful film. I thought. I was happy to do it.
Yeah. What was it about your character Hooks that kind of drew you to the film as well? Because he's an interesting character. What was it about the character that made you decide, yeah, that's the character I want to be?
Well, I didn't have much choice. I didn't want to play any of the other characters, actually. There were no other characters that I wanted to play. And had I said I'd like to play so-and-so, they were all pretty well allocated. Sandy had his mind set on who we wanted. In actual fact, the guy that played Toad, Hugh Keys-Byrne, was actually allocated to a guy called Peter Whittle, who was a friend of ours, and the big guy. He used to double me occasionally, so he's my size and my shape and looks. And he was going to play Toad. For some unknown reason, he turned Sandy down, and Sandy was looking for other actors, and he asked an English actor who was out here, quite a small guy, who went in for the audition, but he took Hugh Keys-Byrne with him. And because Sandy saw the young guy, the short guy coming in, but over his shoulder he saw Hugh B. He said, oh, God, you'll be great for Toad. So he ignored the poor guy that he'd called in, and he grabbed Hugh Keys-Byrne for Toad. But that's diversifying from me. Hooks, I liked him because he was a comedic character, and amongst all the heaviness of the bikers, they all had a heaviness about them, a threat. And I liked Hooks because I could give him a lightness, give him a bit of an attitude, and a bit of fun. So that's why I did it, and that's why. Well, I put my own stamp on it. I bought the hat that I thought would go with him, and I bought the leather gloves. Actually, Sandy said you can't wear leather gloves because Lex Mitchell, who's playing the killer, he wears gloves. I thought, well, I don't care what Lex is wearing. I want to wear gloves. So I did, and these are just characteristic things that I gave myself. A shark's tooth that I wore. So you create your own character when you get the role, and it ends up becoming either iconic or just another character. And luckily, Hooks became an iconic character, even though I wasn't in the film all the way because I was working in the theatre at night, so I couldn't do a lot of the night shoots. But I still had a good innings in there, but I could have done more, but I just couldn't because of the theatre I was doing every night.
Yeah, Roger, one of the things that made this movie so iconic was the fact that so many bikies embraced this film in Australia. Tell us a little bit about that and what that was like for you when the film was released and bikies just seemed to embrace the film.
Yeah. Well, they did because we had the Hells Angels involved to begin with, and the word was spread. And when we did the funeral scene, we put the word out. We got I don't know how many we got for the actual film. We got a great big stream of actors for the. I'll just show you. I don't know if you see it. There's a shot. Can you see that or not?
I can, yes.
That's the shot of the funeral. It goes way back behind us there. So that was the funeral scene. But 25 years later, we had another. I got some notes here about it. 25 years later, no, 20th for the 20th. No, the 25th anniversary, they got 35,000 bikers came to Sydney from all around Australia, 35,000, and rendezvoused in one spot to recreate that funeral scene. So they reckon it's pretty well a world record, 35,000 people rendezvousing at one point for one film at one moment in time. That's pretty good record.
It is.
Yeah.
And Roger, the film also kind of opened up film in Australia in a way as well. It inspired movies like Mad Max. Did you know much about that journey from Stone to Mad Max, considering that you were in both films?
I didn't correlate the two straight away. I mean, I did Stone, and then I did Man from Hong Kong, which is totally alien to all of them, and did a couple of others, and then next thing George Miller turned up with this film, Mad Max, which I read the script. He gave me the script to read, and I said, yeah, I like it. I'd like to play the part. I really didn't think it was similar to Stone, although looking back, there is a lot of similarities, but they made a lot of motor cars in Stone and Mad Max, whereas we had no motor cars as such in Stone. But I thought they were two different films, even though we had Hugh Keith-Byrne, we had Vince Gill, and a few other actors that were doubled up. But I didn't really give it a thought that it was a Stone rip-off or anything like that. I never thought that. But they do say before Mad Max there was Stone, and that's the reason Mad Max eventuated. And that could be right. The fact that George used a lot of the actors from Stone, George must have been influenced by it. But they are similar, but they're not the same. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Roger, I also wanted to ask about Sandy. We unfortunately lost Sandy a few years ago now, but tell us a little bit about what Sandy was like as a filmmaker and what he was like to work with.
Yeah, Sandy died. It was only last year, actually. I think it was November. Just last year, Sandy died. We did lose him mentally and physically many years ago because Sandy became a hermit. But he only died, in actual fact, November last year. But he had been dead mentally, or as far as the film industry is concerned, for many years. But Sandy was a nice guy. I knew him as an actor before he offered me the part before he became a director. And he was a good actor, and but a very opinionated sort of a guy. Didn't suffer fools gladly. Very intelligent guy. But when he wrote the script, he wrote it with another guy. Called Robinson, I forget his first name. They wrote it together, but Sandy took over. Like Sandy wasn't the sort of guy that would take second place. He was always number one. You know, if the script was written, it was by Sandy Harbert and so and so. He would never take second billing. But on the set itself, he was quite domineering. He was very much a sergeant major, not with me, but with the young bikers that were acting. You know, there were a lot of non-actors in the film, and a lot of them were real bikies, and they didn't have the discipline that an actor had, or an actor should have. And consequently, I remember Stanley stopping at traffic lights in the middle of Mossman, and running down the line of bikes. We were in double line at the traffic lights, and running down, abusing the hell out of everybody for some reason or other. And his bike was up the front, and he just topped it and ran down and abused hell out of everybody, and then ran back to his bike, and we all rode off together. But he didn't ever abuse me, but he did abuse a lot of people, yeah. He's very aggressive. And he also had a major row with David Haney, who was his producer. Probably the film wouldn't have been made if it wasn't for David. I introduced David to the business, actually, years ago. And David raised money, or I think they got 167 or something from the Australian Film Corporation. And that was pretty much their budget. But it's since made, in actual fact, it made over $1 million, but in today's money, it'd be nearly 15 million it's made. So it made a lot of money, and it's still amongst the top 10 earners in Australia. But Sandy lost the plot a bit, tried to make another film, and no one would come to him. But he did burn his own bridges because he was very aggressive, and he didn't treat the distributors well, and so that's why no one sort of backed him, unfortunately.
Yeah. Roger, we're running out of time very, very quickly, so I just wanted to ask before we go, how do you feel about Stone coming out now, remastered on Blu-ray? How do you feel about the film being opened up to a whole new generation of film lovers?
Oh, great! I think it's great. I think it's a film that will never age. And you've got young guys these days who are all bikers. I mean, Sandy's funeral alone, God, we had about 200 or 300 bikers turned up, and all young guys who never heard of Stone in those days, weren't even born when we made Stone, for God's sake. And they're all there, they're all the 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds. They just love motorbikes, and they love biker films. And it's held its own extremely well. It's not dated in any way, I don't think. It's got diversity, it's got Aboriginal actors, it's got girls in main lead roles, it's got conservation concerns. It's got everything that they need in the modern day film, and it's got performances that hold up today. So I don't think it will date. No, it won't date, and I'm very pleased that it's coming out in a Blu-ray. I'm very pleased, and I'm happy that the Umbrella are doing it. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, Roger, thank you so much for chatting to us today. It has been an absolute honour chatting to you, and hopefully we get to catch up at some stage.
Yes, Dave, lovely. Thank you very much for that. Nice to see you.
Not a problem, mate. I'll let you go. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye, Dave.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Carl.